Zombie apocalypse.
How's it going, everybody? This is Tabo Drabo. Hope you're having another great day, and welcome back to another video. So this is going to be another random thoughts video. In this series, I like to talk about whatever is on my mind, whether it's something interesting in the world, or if there's something personal I want to talk about, or if I just want to rant about something. And so for this random thought, I'm going to be talking about daylight savings time and why I think it should be permanent. And I know there's a lot of talk recently about its benefits and cons and why they think it should be permanent as well or not. And so that's going to be something that I want to talk about for this video. And as we all know, this weekend is the beginning of daylight savings time, and that's why I think it's especially important time that we talk about this right now. So daylight savings time is usually that time of year in which we gain an extra hour of daylight, and usually there would be twice a year in which we would have to adjust our clocks. The first being in early March, which obviously we're in right now, so that way we can adjust our clocks an hour, so that way we get an extra hour of daylight per day, and then at the very end in early November, in which we have to adjust our clocks backwards an hour and end up losing an hour of daylight. Now obviously, how many of you think that you're starting to get really tired of having to do that? Because number one, obviously you lose a little bit of sleep in doing that, and more importantly, you know, there are just some things that in daylight savings time that you get to enjoy that you can't do without it. Well, obviously that's exactly why daylight savings time has been talked about for many years, about why it should be permanent, and well, that's exactly what we're going to be touching on here. So for this video, I'm going to be giving you 4 reasons as to why I think daylight savings time should be permanent and why now is the perfect time for that to happen. Now some of you are going to disagree with me when it comes to daylight savings time. Some of you think obviously it's a bad thing, and obviously that's okay. This is just some of the reasons why I think that daylight savings time can be beneficial for us, and why I think now is the perfect time for us to make it permanent, so that way we can enjoy longer days and have a little bit of fun in doing so as well. So my first reason why I think daylight savings time should be permanent, and this one should really be the most obvious, we get an extra hour of daylight, which means longer evenings. And because of that, it means more opportunities to be able to enjoy our days, because as we all know, usually during the winters when it's not daylight savings time, the days are much shorter, and there's a lot more darkness that happens in the evening. And because of that, you know, you feel like that you really have nothing to do. I mean, come on, during the winter, you usually feel like the days go by much quicker, and because of that, there's really not a whole lot that you can do. And you know, sometimes because of that, you just feel a little bored. You know, obviously you're just waiting for the weather to get better, and obviously there's just not a whole lot that you can do about that. But by making daylight savings time permanent, you get to make the evenings longer, and because of that, you get to be able to have more time to go out and be able to enjoy a whole lot of things. And obviously longer evenings are something that usually we would all like to have, and that's exactly what we get during daylight savings time. And I say that because there's just so much in the world to explore, and if you don't have that extra hour of daylight, you're absolutely not going to be able to do a whole lot. And so you having that extra hour of daylight where the sun usually ends up setting around 8 instead of 6 or 7, that can usually be a good thing, because you know, it means longer days, which means you get to enjoy more sunlight. And so obviously that could be a real benefit for some of us. And so obviously getting that extra hour of daylight obviously could be a really beneficial thing for most of us, because it allows us to get out of the house and be more active. It can get out and allow us to explore, and more importantly, it just allows us to enjoy the days better than we do in the winter. And I just think that moving it up an hour can be a very beneficial thing for us when it comes to enjoying an opportunity to enjoy a lot more things during the day than we usually do during the winter. My second reason why daylight savings time should be permanent is because it improves our overall health, not just mentally as well, but also physically as well. And I say that because usually during the winters, the days are a lot shorter, and because of that, our health usually doesn't benefit that much. Because let's say, like, you know, you're an exercise and fitness junkie, you want to go out and be able to do a lot of things and stay healthy. Well, unfortunately, you know, you can't do a whole lot of that during the days when it's not daylight savings time. Unfortunately, because of the darkness, you know, many people don't go out of the house a lot, and because of that, you know, a lot more people end up staying home, and because of that, unfortunately, we end up getting a lot more unhealthy, and because of that, a lot of negative health benefits are going to happen. And one of those reasons could be disrupted sleep. I know that having to change change in hour could really be a problem when it comes to sleep, and obviously losing or gaining an hour of sleep, it can really be a major problem because it can really affect how we end up doing the very next day as well. Not only that, when you have those longer days, obviously you end up getting the opportunity to go out and exercise more. Like for example, you go out on a walk or maybe ride a bike and even go out in a park and even play around just a little bit. That can be something that can really help you be more active during daylight savings time. Not only that, your mental health also improves because usually during the winters, that's a very depressing time because there's not a whole lot going on, and a lot of times life can be very, very stressful as well, and there can be times where you can end up being depressed because of a lot of crazy things that are happening during the winter. During the spring and summer though, when it is daylight savings time, because of those longer days, you get an opportunity to really refresh yourself. You can go out and do some meditation as well, and it can really help you improve your overall mental health. I do think that daylight savings time does have some benefits when it comes to that. And so obviously there are a lot more benefits when it comes to that health-wise, but obviously when you get that extra hour of daylight, not only does it help you get more active and become more healthy, it helps you improve your lifestyle. And because of that, it leads to a lot more healthier lifestyle for those that really care about getting out and being a lot more active as well. And I think that's the reason why daylight savings time is a very positive thing when it comes to that. My third reason why I think daylight savings time should be permanent is because it also leads to a lot more safety. Of course, as we all know, during these times, obviously there's a lot of crazy things that are happening out there, and usually during the darkness, that's when things can be at its most dangerous because those are when all the most crimes are happening, and more importantly, those are when a whole lot of traffic accidents usually occur. I say that because during the darkness, it's a lot harder to see anything. It's a lot harder to drive during the dark, it's a lot harder to walk during the dark, and that's when usually a lot of very bad things happen. You can end up running over somebody and getting somebody hurt, you can end up in a car accident and end up being hurt, or more importantly, there could be something like, robberies or shootings and all of that. Trust me, the darkness can be a very dangerous place as we usually see. But during daylight savings time, when you get an extra hour, all of those problems, the crime rate along with all the accident rates, those actually end up dropping. There's a lot less crime that happens in the streets, and more importantly, the streets are a lot safer driving wise as well. There isn't a whole lot more worries for you to be able to get out there and potentially end up getting hurt, because with that extra hour of daylight, it's a lot more safer to go out there and travel because it means less darkness during the day as well. And because of that, as we all know, during daylight savings time, because of that extra hour, when you're out there, you actually just want to feel safe. You don't get that during the darkness because out in the dark, you always fear for yourself because let's say like you go out to the bank to do a transaction. What if there ends up being a robbery that ends up taking place and you end up getting hurt in it? Obviously, that could be a very bad thing, and usually during the winters, those are prime opportunities for that to happen. Things will usually improve during the spring and the summer though, because with an hour of daylight, you get an extra hour of daylight, which obviously means less darkness during the day, and that allows you to feel a lot more safer driving because obviously it reduces the risk of a traffic accident or a crime ending up happening. Daylight savings time has the benefit of making things a lot safer for all of us. Finally, the fourth and most important reason why I think daylight savings time should be permanent is, more importantly, there's a lot more opportunities for you to enjoy the day. There's a lot more opportunities for you to go out and enjoy the world and explore it, and that's something that I usually do a lot of during daylight savings time. As I mentioned before, it was during daylight savings time last year where I found the ability to enjoy going out and walking every single day, walking 2 hours a day outside in Springfield and Union and losing all that weight that I had lost over the last year. I really find that to be one of those benefits of having daylight savings time altogether. And because of that, daylight savings time, there's an opportunity to be able to go out and do some things that you may not be able to do prior. Like for example, go out and find a new hobby, like go out and walk during the day, or even go to a track and do some running a little bit, or maybe go out and see a sporting event during the day, like a football game or a basketball game, or even an auto race in general. Not only that, there's also more opportunities for you to go out and even try some new food, or maybe even explore some other things as well, because during the days when it's not daylight savings time, there's not a whole lot of time for you to be able to do something. And usually, let's say like if you have like a 9 to 5 job, obviously your day ends at 5. During that time, during the days that's not daylight savings time, it will immediately be dark out. Because of that, there's really not a whole lot that you can do. The only thing you can do is just go to your home, do what you have to do for the night and sleep. It's just hard for you to be able to find anything to do when there's not that extra hour of daylight. With that extra hour of daylight, however, there's a lot more opportunities for you to go out there and explore. And there are many people that love to go out there and try new things, travel, find some new food, or even, just enjoy the environment in general. And I do think that daylight savings time, as a result of that, can allow more opportunities to be able to go out there and enjoy the world and explore a lot more things that you normally wouldn't do during the winter hours. And as somebody that wants to try new things, I feel like this extra hour of daylight, making it permanent, can actually be a good thing, because it allows us to be able to go out there and do all these new things, so that way you can get the full benefit of experiencing what a positive lifestyle can be like. And I really do believe that an extra hour of daylight savings can definitely help us when it comes to being able to find some things that can help us with our personal lives and be able to enjoy all the great things that happens in this world. And it allows us more time to be able to hang with friends and family outside the house as well. Obviously you don't have to worry about staying in the house and potentially having an unhealthy lifestyle. I do think that going outside a lot more and being with friends and even trying new things, that can lead to a very healthy lifestyle. And that's why I think that an extra hour of daylight savings time is a real benefit here, because I think there's a lot more opportunities to go out there in the world and find those new things that you can do during the day that you're not able to do during the summer. Now, every year, as we all know, daylight savings time is a really hard topic that we always like to talk about, because obviously not only there are benefits as well, there are usually also a lot of cons too. Obviously it affects our sleep, which can affect our mental health, and obviously, as we all know, it can really put a damper on our day sometimes, when it is daylight savings time. So there usually is some cons to go along with this, but overall, daylight savings time has proven to be a good thing. And there are a few states that have implemented daylight savings time permanently. Why not make it nationwide? And I say that because not only are you able to enjoy the day more and live a healthier lifestyle, but you get to go out and do a lot more things and explore the world in a much better way than you would during the winter. And trust me, there are a lot more opportunities to be able to go out there and explore things during the spring that you would like to do than you would without that extra hour of daylight savings time. Trust me, I think daylight savings time is a much more beneficial thing than you think. That being said, obviously it's important that you move your clocks forward this weekend, because with that extra hour of daylight, you're going to need it, because with everything that's going to happen when it comes to, let's say, work during the summer or having to go out and do a lot of other things during the summer, you're going to need that extra hour of daylight. And having that extra hour of daylight is a very beneficial thing. And because of that, there are a lot more opportunities to be able to explore the world and just enjoy life in general. And that's why overall, I really think that you're going to need that extra hour of daylight savings time. And that's why I think personally that daylight savings time should be permanent altogether. And obviously, after what we've been through this winter, I'm going to be very happy that we have that extra hour of daylight, because obviously, as like we said before, I have had enough of the snow. And I think that now would be a very good time for spring to come, because daylight savings time, as we all know, is during the spring, and that's when the best weather and the best things happen. So thank God daylight savings time is here, and hopefully in the future, maybe this year, daylight savings time will forever be permanent. Alright, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when my latest video is released. As always, comment below what future videos you'd like for me to make next, whether it's vlogs, projects, challenges, or random vlogs videos, you name it. Leave it in the comments below. I'll do my best to make them. And as always, follow me on my social media. All the links are in the description below. That's going to do it for another video. Hope you're having another great day. Be sure to set your clocks an hour early this weekend, so that way you can enjoy that extra hour of daylight this spring. And as always, I hope to see all of you again in another video very soon. So long, everybody.